Mrs. Schaefer, and I wanted to help you with the lesson 8.02. So in this lesson, we're going to be looking at chemical reactions. And this is going to help us review some information we've learned in the past and update it with some new ideas. So you won't have a formal lab report to complete, but you will have a discussion quiz. And you'll find this in Unit 5, Chapter 8 on chemical reactions, and is lesson 8.02. And you'll see that there's a discussion quiz that you can preview. And then you'll also see that this is a video lab where you watch the reactions and you're going to record some notes. So you'll find that in your reading. So with this, like I said, you'll need to go through that virtual lab and take notes. Right here, you'll see there's an area for you to complete the data table. But before we look at that, let's review some information that we need to know. We need to know the difference between a physical change and a chemical change. And you can find this in your notes. We've covered it in Unit 2. We've now covered it in our Chapter 8. Lesson 1, and you'll find it also on the word walls. So you can use that information because, as you can see, you'll be listing whether something is a chemical change or physical change. So you're going to see all these reactions here, and then you're going to record what happened, and then whether it was a physical change or a chemical change. So use these ideas, make sure you have them clear and you have good definitions for them. The other thing that we're pulling in from the past in our Chapter 2 again was the endothermic and exothermic reactions. And you'll see some snips here of review slides that we covered and what reactions look like if they're endothermic and exothermic, and also here's some information in your reading for 8.01 on exothermic and endothermic reactions. So make sure you've gone in and read and have read that material. Okay, so now we want to go in and fill out this chart by watching the video. So let's go through and view that information. So you're in your course, Physical Science. You're going to click on Content. And remember, it's going to open up to wherever you were in the course last. So you might have to change where you are by using the tab on the left. You're going to go down and find that. Unit 5, Chapter 8. When you click on that, it will open up all the lessons below it, and then we want 8.02. And when we click on that, up on the right side of the page, it will open just that lesson. And we can see here's that discussion quiz, and we can click on the link to view the questions ahead of time so we know what we're looking for to help us out. And one of the things we definitely are going to need is to fill out that table. And then we'll have, it looks like we have 5 questions connected to this, and then an essay question. So 5 multiple choice and then 1 essay question. So I've gone through and previewed that information. To find the investigation, I'm going to click on Investigations, that last tab, and I'm going to click over to page 2, and here's my video link. I'm going to click on that, and it's going to say, hey, you're about ready to leave the course. Do you want to? You're going to click on that link because we want that link, and you're going to have to enable your Adobe Flash Player. If you haven't already, if it doesn't work, refresh the page or use the Firefox. Then you're going to click play, and it's going to go through the information for you. So it's talking about different chemical reactions. And then it's going to start running through and run some of those experiments for you. And that's what you're going to record. So you're going to watch what happens. There you go. You're going to record what you see. And so you're going to do that with each reaction. You're going to record what you see. And then listen to the explanations, because sometimes they're showing you the explanations of what's happened. So in each one of those, you'll be going through that experiment, and then you're going to come back over to here, and then based on that information, you're going to answer some questions. So you're going to fill out this chart, then you're going to determine if it's a physical or a chemical change. You could go through, do it step by step as you're watching the video, and then you're going to answer some questions. First question is, if ice is warmed and becomes a liquid, which type of process is that? Remember to think back to that unit 2 and the lab to help you out. A lot of this information we covered on what's endothermic and what's exothermic. We talked about physical changes and chemical changes, what evidence is there for a physical change, and what evidence there is for a chemical change. You'll be using that to help you answer the questions. It will give you a couple situations where it asks you if something is a chemical change, like mixing baking soda with sugar is a chemical change, true or false. Mixing baking soda with vinegar is a chemical change, true or false. Then question 5, which is an example of an endothermic reaction? So you have to use your notes to help you with that. And then the essay question, what's the difference between a physical change and a chemical change? Use all the information to help you. Explain to me how I can determine if something has gone through a physical change or a chemical change. So listing examples will help you. Making sure you have the definitions in there will help you. Well, I hope that is helpful to you. Remember that you need to complete the 8.02 discussion quiz connected to that solubility lab. Be sure that you are looking at your grades each and every day. Redo those unit assessments and the daily work. Email if you have questions. Time is running out. Don't struggle alone. Be sure to ask for help. Then determine where you are and what your next step is. If you've got this, then that's great. Move on. Build some new information in there. If you need to review, that's great. Go in and review. Make sure you have your notes solid and in your study guide, review sheets, whatever you use to help you keep it organized. If you have questions, please be sure to email. If you're totally lost, go in and watch those recordings that are there for you and read the lessons. The lessons give you a lot of information. It's your textbook. Use them. All right. Well, have a great day. And we will see you next time.